Just after getting off work, I heard sounds of laughter and chatting coming from the house. I knew then that my sister-in-law, who had gone to my grandmother's house, had returned. Having not seen her for half a month, she had evidently gained a significant amount of weight. It seemed that the food at my grandmother's place was quite good. However, my mother-in-law spoke in a choked-up tone. "My dear, why have you lost so much weight? I knew that damned old woman wouldn't treat you well." She was, as always, telling blatant lies. Whenever it came to someone she disliked, she would distort the truth and smear them. I couldn't help but heave a long sigh, feeling sorry that my grandmother was unjustly maligned. My sister-in-law was only 7 years old. Naturally, she didn't have the ability to distinguish right from wrong. Hearing what my mother-in-law said, she quickly chimed in. Children are prone to talking nonsense, especially when she said that my grandmother didn't let her eat. This made my mother-in-law's chest heave with anger. Without further ado, despite my grandmother's advanced age of 80, my mother-in-law immediately called her and cursed her with the most venomous words. Fortunately, the old lady was hard of hearing and didn't clearly understand what she was saying. Otherwise, at such an advanced age, how could she bear such vicious language? After finishing her tirade, she gradually calmed the anger in her heart. Then she hugged my sister-in-law and said, "Darling, I'll cook you something delicious right away. We'll make up for the nutrients you missed in the past half month." With that, she opened a box of free-range eggs that hadn't been opened for half a month. These free-range eggs were sent by my family members from afar. Originally, they were meant to nourish me during my pregnancy. However, since I was busy with work on weekdays and my mother-in-law took care of the 3 daily meals, I didn't pay much attention to those eggs. Now that I thought about it, these eggs hadn't been cooked for me because she was waiting for my sister-in-law to come back. She even claimed that she would treat me like her own daughter. Now she was reluctant to give me even these eggs. What kind of own daughter was that? Besides, these were originally mine. Nevertheless, I didn't care too much. After all, they were just a few eggs. I might as well let them have them. After bustling around in the kitchen for a few minutes, my mother-in-law came out with 3 boiled eggs. My sister-in-law had always had a big appetite. As soon as she saw the food, she rushed to the dining table like a starving person. What was even more laughable was that she was possessive of her food. Afraid that I would take her things, she quickly blocked them with her chubby body. From beginning to end, my mother-in-law didn't stop her. Instead, she thought my sister-in-law's behavior was cute. Helpless, I shook my head. Since that was the case, there was no need for me to stay in the living room. Just as I was about to turn around and go back to the bedroom to rest, suddenly my sister-in-law let out a scream. "Why are these eggs like this?" I had never seen her so scared before. Curious, I turned around and took a look. At first glance, I was also startled. In my mother-in-law's hand was not a white and tender egg, but a chick embryo with feathers. Presumably, due to the hot weather, the eggs had hatched into Ballot. After all, my sister-in-law was just a child. It was her first time seeing such a thing, and she was so frightened that she took several steps back. However, my mother-in-law didn't care. She even laughed merrily. "Don't be afraid, darling. It's just a little chick. You've seen chicks before." But my sister-in-law still didn't dare to get close. A normal person, upon seeing their daughter scared, would put the thing away. But my mother-in-law was not a normal person. She continued, "My dear, this is a highly nutritious thing. It's 100 times more nutritious than an egg and tastes better too. Mom definitely isn't lying to you." Upon hearing that it tasted better than an egg, my sister-in-law immediately summoned up the courage to take a step forward. But looking at the terrifying appearance of the Ballot, she wanted to open her mouth but didn't have the courage. Seeing this, my mother-in-law became a bit impatient. So, under the pretext of doing good for my sister-in-law, she heedlessly stuffed the Ballot into her mouth. This bite seemed to open my sister-in-law's senses. Her eyes immediately sparkled. "This is so delicious," she stammered. Then she couldn't resist and stuffed the remaining half of the Ballot in my mother-in-law's hand into her mouth. She gobbled it up, fearing that the delicious food in front of her would suddenly disappear. "See, Mom was right, wasn't she? This thing is indeed much more delicious than an egg," my mother-in-law said triumphantly. My sister-in-law kept nodding in agreement. So as soon as she swallowed what was in her mouth, she eagerly asked my mother-in-law to peel the shells of the remaining 2 Ballots. "Delicious, delicious," she muttered as she ate. Seeing that her mouth was full of feathers, my stomach churned. Actually, I'm not averse to Ballot as a food. It was just her unseemly eating manner that made me unable to bear it. I quickly ran to the bathroom to vomit. Just as I came out, the 3 Ballots had been completely devoured. I thought it would end there, but my sister-in-law wasn't one to know when to stop. Having finally come across food she liked, such a small amount couldn't possibly satisfy her. So she half cried and half cajoled, asking my mother-in-law to cook all the remaining Ballots. There were still 17 left. How could a child like her finish all of them? However, my mother-in-law had always doted on her. Not to mention these Ballots, Even if she wanted to eat lobsters and abalones, my mother-in-law would try every means to get them for her. My husband had never received such treatment. Others praised her for not favoring sons over daughters, but only my husband and I knew why she did this. It was all because a fortune teller had said that my sister-in-law was a lucky person. As long as she was treated well, wishes would come true. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law's kindness had gone too far and turned into doting. She didn't care that ballots contained hormones. She immediately took out all the ballots and was about to rush to the kitchen. She kept talking non-stop. Whoever cooked it, the taste was amazing. This time, I'll make them spicy for my dear. Upon seeing this, I promptly intervened. Mom, although ballot is nutritious, it contains estrogen and progesterone. Eating too much might cause minor gastrointestinal discomfort, but if it leads to precocious puberty, the gain will not offset the loss. Hearing that I wouldn't let her eat, my sister-in-law immediately sat on the ground and started crying. My mother-in-law was extremely shintung. To vent her anger for my sister-in-law, she pointed at my nose and started yelling. Xiaoxin, don't pretend to know everything. Just because you've studied for a few more years doesn't mean you know it all. Stop lecturing me. I'm not dead yet. It's not your turn to be in charge. Despite her harsh words, for the sake of my husband, I remained calm and said, Mom, I'm not scaremongering. It's just that Enine is too young. Her body can't tolerate these hormones. If she were an adult, I definitely wouldn't say anything more. After that, I even picked up my phone to educate them about the harms of precocious puberty. Unfortunately, neither of them would listen, whether the words were good or bad, especially my sister-in-law. Seeing that I was determined not to let her eat ballot, she actually ran to the window and threatened to jump off. I had never seen a 7-year-old child act like this. Whenever things didn't go her way, she would threaten to take her own life. Although I was flustered, I was quick-witted enough to grab her arm to ensure her safety in case she accidentally fell. However, my mother-in-law was not a worry-free person. At this moment, instead of coaxing my sister-in-law down first, she fiercely slapped me. I was still pregnant. Wasn't she afraid that I might let go in pain, putting my sister-in-law's life at risk? Although my face was burning with pain, I didn't dare to loosen my grip. But she was relentless, saying, Chow Xian, don't think I don't know what you're up to. You're just Xintung because Enine ate the eggs sent by your Nangjia. I was instantly left speechless. Moreover, I'm never the stingy type. If I were, why would I have bought her a gold bracelet? That one was a full 50 grams. With the craftsmanship fee, it cost nearly 30,000 yuan. I wonder how many ballots that could buy. However, this slap directly woke me up. A mother-in-law like this and a sister-in-law like this were nothing but ungrateful wretches. No matter how well you treated them, as long as the slightest thing didn't go their way, they would turn their backs on you. Since that was the case, I would respect their fates. Whether they lived or died, were rich or poor, it had nothing to do with me. Fortunately, in 3 more months, the new house would be ready for occupancy. Then I would move out. Not living under the same roof, out of sight, out of mind. Seeing that I was slapped, my sister-in-law showed a triumphant smile. I immediately realized that she wasn't really going to jump off the building because she couldn't eat ballot. She just wanted to see me get scolded by my mother-in-law. So I deliberately loosened my hand, scaring her into grabbing the railing on the spot. Seeing this, I confirmed my previous thought. At such a young age, she already had such schemes. My mother-in-law really had a great way of raising her daughter. With my mother-in-law's persuasion, she then pretended to climb back from the window. She looked up, acting pitifully and looking at my mother-in-law. Mom, can I eat the remaining ballots? My mother-in-law didn't notice that she was faking it. Afraid that she might try to commit suicide again, she immediately rushed to the kitchen. Taking this opportunity, my sister-in-law didn't forget to provoke me. Xiaoxin, if you dare to be nosy again and deliberately stop me from eating good things, I'll directly smash a chair on your stomach and make you miscarry this child. Hearing this, I was completely stunned. Was this something a 7-year-old child could say? If she weren't a girl, I would have suspected that she was a super bear patient. She was a born bad seed. Then I definitely wouldn't care anymore. Anyway, it was my feudal and superstitious mother-in-law who would suffer. If she wanted to believe that my sister-in-law was a lucky child, so be it. I replied indifferently. Fine, I won't interfere anymore. Do as you please. Thinking that I was scared, she smiled triumphantly. You're being sensible. Enine, the ballots are ready. With my mother-in-law's shout, our conversation came to an end. Hearing that the ballots were ready, she rushed to the dining table and couldn't wait to start eating. She was really afraid that others would eat hers. 1 bite for 1 ballot. Not bad. This spicy one is much more delicious than the boiled ones. She gave a thumbs up. Hearing her praise, my mother-in-law beamed with joy. She ate really fast. Soon, all the ballots on the table were gone. Not even a single bone fragment left. Her eating capacity was really strong. I had thought she wouldn't be able to finish them. It seemed I had underestimated her. Seeing how happy she was eating, my mother-in-law kept saying, Tomorrow Mom will buy you another 100. Whether you want them garlic-flavored, boiled, or spicy, it's up to you to choose. Let you eat to your heart's content. At the same time, she didn't forget to glance at me and sarcastically said, Fortunately, Enine was born to me. If she were born to someone stingy and selfish, how curland that would be. After that, she kissed my sister-in-law. Darling, Mom treats you so well. You must remember that when you develop well in the future, you have to be filial to Mom. Don't be heartless. My sister-in-law also kissed her cheek. Of course. No one in this world loves me more than you, Mom. Looking at the affectionate mother-daughter scene in front of me, I pursed my lips and smiled. I knew they were insinuating me, but now that I was clear-headed, I naturally didn't bother to talk much to them. Whether she spoiled or doted on her, what did it have to do with me? After this incident, my mother-in-law didn't even save me any dinner. But I didn't care. I casually cooked some noodles for myself and then went back to my room. After returning to the room, my first thought was to tell my husband, who was abroad, about what had happened today. But then I thought it was unnecessary. First, Ballot couldn't kill anyone. Second, precocious puberty might not necessarily occur. So, I deleted all the text messages I had composed. My husband already had a lot of work pressure. At this time, I shouldn't add to his troubles. My mother-in-law was a vengeful person. After this incident, she ignored me and no longer saved my meals. Naturally, I wouldn't take the initiative to make up with her. Besides, I was still working and had an income. How could I starve to death? Day after day, I had thought that my sister-in-law would get tired of eating Ballot after a few days. Unexpectedly, she became addicted. From initially eating 20 Ballots a day, it increased to 40. Later, she didn't even eat the staple food. Her 3 daily meals were all based on Ballot. Fortunately, Ballot was cheap. Otherwise, who could afford to raise this glutton? Once the late pregnancy stage arrived, I had frequent urination and always slept restlessly at night. One night, as usual, I went to the bathroom. Unexpectedly, I was greatly startled. Now my sister-in-law not only ate Ballot for 3 meals a day but also kept eating them as a midnight snack. For a moment, I suspected that there was something in them that made people unable to stop. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law wouldn't think of these things. Seeing me come out, she didn't forget to sneer. Some people are born with a lowly life. People from poor places have never seen the world and have never seen anything good. She doesn't deserve to eat it. I couldn't help but laugh out loud. It was just Ballot and she felt superior because of it. I didn't know who was the one who had never seen the world. Since that was the case, if she thought it was a good thing, she could enjoy it herself. When I came out of the bathroom, there was only one Ballot left in front of my sister-in-law. Although she couldn't even swallow it anymore, she would rather stuff herself to the brim than leave one for others. I really couldn't understand. Born of the same parents, how could the personalities of the 2 children be so different? If my husband were like this, I definitely wouldn't have married him. As time passed, my house was finally completed. After testing that there was no formaldehyde, I was ready to move in. At this moment, my belly was very big. In 1 more month, I would enter the expected delivery period. During the move, my mother-in-law had a gloomy face the whole time. Looking at her expression, people who didn't know might think that I had used her money to buy the house and then wouldn't let her live in it. In fact, she hadn't contributed a single cent. My husband even sent her 1,000 yuan a month as living expenses. It was only when she saw the workers move the last load of things that she came over to talk to me. You already have a place to live. Why waste this money? It would be better to save it to cultivate Yinin. She's a lucky treasure. I looked down at her. There are only 2 rooms in total. If I don't buy a house, where will my child live when he grows up? Should I drive you out or drive your lucky treasure out? She gave me a dirty look. Dream on. You want to drive us out? Then she pointed to the balcony. Partition this place. Isn't it another room? Just leave it for your child to live in. The balcony was cold in winter and hot in summer. Could it be made into a room? And she wanted my child to live there? Did she really think my child only deserved to sleep on the balcony? Hearing her say such ignorant things, I couldn't help but show a bitter smile. Seeing me smile, she thought I agreed with her statement. So she raised her chin and said cheerfully, "It's not too late to regret now. As long as you sell the house and use the money to cultivate Yinin, we can continue to live together, and I can take care of you during your confinement." Was she daydreaming? She didn't cultivate her own daughter but wanted me to. How could there be such a good thing in the world? Not to mention that my mother would come to take care of me during my confinement. With my abilities, the money I had saved over the years, couldn't I afford to hire a monthly nurse? I neither took her money nor her things. How dare she boss me around? Since she slapped me, I wasn't as polite to her as before. I directly left a sentence. "Forget it, Li Chunmei. Don't bother taking care of me. I'll be more comfortable without you." After that, I didn't look back and left, leaving her standing there, gnashing her teeth and cursing. My decision was correct. Without Li Chunmei's interference, I lived a very comfortable life. Even the air seemed to have a sweet taste. Later, as soon as the fetus reached full term, I took maternity leave and asked my mother to come over. Under the care of my mother and the doctor, I successfully gave birth to a baby girl. When Li Chunmei found out, she didn't come to take a look. When the neighbors asked her why, she just said that she had to take care of my sister-in-law and had no time. I was even happier that she didn't come. It saved me from being annoyed when I saw her. However, this peaceful life didn't last for 2 months before she showed up again. This time, she was quite sensible. She actually came with 2 big packages. But I knew her. I knew she wasn't that kind-hearted. Sure enough, when I opened them, they were all discarded baby clothes, half of which were moldy. My mother was so angry that her face immediately darkened. If it weren't for her inherent upbringing, she would have already driven Li Chunmei out. Li Chunmei knew very well that my mother was unhappy, but she was still smug. These were all the clothes Yinin wore when she was a child. The fortune teller said she's a lucky person. For the sake of being a family, I reluctantly let your daughter wear Yinin's clothes so that she can get some of the good luck. If she had just put them aside, I could have tolerated it. But she was relentless. She insisted on forcing my daughter to wear them right away. The clothes with a strong musty smell could make one's head ache from a distance, let alone put them on an infant. Who did she think she was? How dare she come and humiliate my daughter? Now, not only was I angry, but my mother also exploded. My mother was an impatient person. She grabbed Li Chunmei's hair and stuffed the moldy clothes into her mouth, saying indignantly, "Li Chunmei, you shameless wretch. You don't value Xinshin and you even bring these things to disgust her. Since you say these clothes have good luck, then you enjoy them yourself." Li Chunmei was in so much pain from being grabbed that she was screaming, but she showed no intention of admitting her mistake. She was still cursing. Don't be ungrateful. Don't give me face. Inin is a lucky treasure. Unfortunately, before she could finish, I gave her several fierce slaps. If the tiger doesn't show its power, do you think I'm a sick cat? Before, when she hit me, I didn't fight back because I was pregnant. I was afraid that arguing with her would hurt the child. Now that the child was born, what was I afraid of? She was left stunned by my slaps. When she came to her senses, she felt as if the sky was about to fall. Is there no justice left? A daughter-in-law actually dares to hit her mother-in-law. With that, she was about to pick up her phone to complain to her son. However, she was no match for my speed. As soon as she took out her phone, I kicked it far away. Since she couldn't beat me in a fight and had no one to back her up, she became somewhat subdued. Seeing that she stopped causing trouble, my mother and I let her go. She immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Of course, I knew that her visit this time wasn't just about giving away some tattered clothes. So I said coldly, if you have anything else to say it quickly. If not, get out of here right now. At first, she still had an expression as if she wanted to skin me alive. But then, thinking that she still needed to ask me for something, she put on a smile again. There's one more thing. She licked her lips and said obsequiously, Inin has started her period. The doctor said that if we don't intervene, she won't even grow to 1.4 meters in the future. Sure enough, what was bound to happen had happened. Inin had been eating haphazardly, and was bound to develop earlier than ordinary children. With all those ballots she ate this year, it would be strange if she didn't start her period. But since she had already started her period, was it still possible to intervene at this point? Besides, how tall she grew had nothing to do with me. I hadn't forgotten the sharp-tongued and mean expressions of her and her son at that time. My mother didn't know about this matter. When she heard that an 8-year-old child had started her period, she was so shocked that her mouth hung open. My silence made Li Chunmei think I was moved. She immediately pleaded, Xin, now you're the only one who can help her. I smiled faintly. How can I help her? Give her 100,000 yuan for growth hormone injections? I'll be satisfied if she can grow taller than 1.4 meters. What a joke. Did she think I was a fool? I directly pointed to the door and told her to get as far away as possible. Not achieving her goal, Li Chunmei immediately revealed her true colors. Xiao Exun, you're her sister-in-law, for goodness sake. You're not even willing to give her a mere 100,000 yuan. Are you even human? It was she who had been inhumane first, and now she was demanding that others be humane. How selfish. I said expressionlessly, I just bought a house and now I've had a baby. Where do you think I can get 100,000 yuan? Borrow it? If not, then take an online loan. Or sell the house. As long as you can help Inin get through this difficult time, she'll bring you good fortune. The more she talked, the more ridiculous it became. Didn't she have a house? Couldn't she take an online loan? Why did she ask me to do it? Inin was her daughter, not mine. That's enough. You keep that so-called good fortune for yourself. I'm tired of hearing about good fortune all the time. I shouted coldly. To get rid of her, I took a deep breath and tried to calm myself down. Then I changed the subject. When Dad had the accident, he was compensated 1.2 million yuan. Have you spent it all in just 2 years? I don't believe there's not a single cent left. Hearing this, she looked embarrassed and stammered. Well, I need to save some money for my old age. This way you as children can worry less. Humph. I couldn't help but laugh. If that were really the case, why would she look so guilty? Presumably, the money had long been given to her good-for-nothing younger brother. Then you pay the 100,000 yuan first. When we have more money or when Inin grows up, we'll pay you back with interest. When she heard this, she stomped her feet in a hurry. Seeing my firm refusal, she lost control and started cursing my ancestors for 18 generations. She had a really short memory. It hadn't been long since she had forgotten how my mother had taught her a lesson just now. This time my mother directly picked her up and threw her out along with those tattered clothes. After slamming the door shut, our ears finally got some peace. The world is so big. There are all kinds of strange people. My mother couldn't help but curse. At the same time, she felt sorry for me for marrying into such a family. Fortunately, my husband wasn't a mama's boy. Even if Li Chunmei exaggerated things and told lies, he still chose to believe me. Especially when it came to the 100,000 yuan. When I said we couldn't give it, he wouldn't give it. After this incident, Li Chunmei never came to me again. Presumably, she knew that she couldn't get any benefits from me. Time flew by. In the blink of an eye, 8 years had passed. My husband's project had ended, and he was finally able to return home. But before he arrived, Suing came to me first. Seeing her again, she had changed a lot. Her figure was oval-shaped, and her face was covered in acne. As soon as she saw me, she started accusing me. Xiao Exun, why are you so heartless? Even if we had some conflicts, you couldn't just stand by and watch me die. I've become like this because of you. These mother-daughter pairs were really cut from the same cloth, always pushing the blame onto others. As she spoke, she was about to jump up and slap me. Unfortunately, before she could jump, I pushed her to the ground. Her coccyx hit the ground and she wailed in pain. After the pain subsided, she fumbled in her pocket. She was probably going to call Li Chunmei to teach me a lesson. However, I wasn't afraid at all. I looked down at her. Do you really think Li Chunmei loves you? If she really did, with all the money she has, why wouldn't she pay for your treatment? My words made her stop what she was doing. What do you mean? What do I mean? Of course it means that Li Chunmei has money. When your father died, she really received 1.2 million yuan. It's because she gave all the money to your uncle that you missed the chance for treatment. She still couldn't believe it. Impossible. Mom said that Dad's death was an accident, and that she didn't get a single cent in compensation. She raised me single-handedly. She really had no brains. She didn't even think that Lee Chunmei, a person who had done nothing at home all year round, couldn't have raised her without money. Since that was the case, I stopped beating around the bush and directly told her to take Lee Chunmei's phone and check the bank statements. Once she checked, wouldn't it be clear whether it was true or not? Hearing this, she slowly got up and glared at me fiercely. I hope what you said is true. If there's even one word of falsehood, I'll make you pay. I didn't say anything. I just waved my hand to tell her to get lost. She left angrily, leaving me with only the sound of a slamming door. I remained expressionless, quietly waiting for the impending storm. After all these years, Su Ying's temper was still so impatient. That night, I received a call from Lee Chunmei. Xin, please save me. She was moaning weakly. It seemed that she was seriously injured. I didn't want to pay attention at first, but I'm a person who loves excitement. After asking my mother to take care of my daughter, I rushed over without delay. When I arrived, what greeted my eyes was Lee Chunmei lying on the ground weakly. If I guessed correctly, she had been beaten up by Su Ying and had hurt her spine. At the moment, Su Ying was still not calm. She was like a crazy wild beast, smashing everything around her. It was only when there was nothing left to smash that she calmed down. Lee Chunmei, you have such a cruel heart. You'd rather give all the money to uncle than give it to me for growth hormone injections. It seemed that she hated her mother deeply, so she called her by her full name. Lee Chunmei didn't dare to look up at her and only said weakly, actually, it was already too late to get growth hormone injections at that time. So there was no need to waste that money. So she knew it was too late but still asked me to pay that money. Presumably, since it wasn't her own money, she didn't care. It's too late because of you. If you hadn't indulged me and let me eat ballots, I wouldn't be like this now. Su Ying was screaming hysterically. It seemed that this matter of precocious puberty had hurt her deeply. Perhaps when she was young she didn't understand, but now that she was older, she had realized her differences. It was evident that she had endured a lot of humiliation over the years. What does this have to do with me? You insisted on eating them. Your sister-in-law also tried to persuade you. At that time you even threatened to jump off a building. Lee Chunmei retorted without showing weakness. This excuse directly reignited the anger in Su Ying, who had just calmed down. She suddenly kicked Lee Chunmei hard. Lee Chunmei was in so much pain that her tears and sweat rolled down together. Afraid that something fatal would happen, I quickly called for help. After arriving at the hospital, the doctor directly determined that her spine was broken and that she would be paralyzed for life. When Su Ying heard this, the corners of her mouth involuntarily turned up, as if the person who was paralyzed wasn't her mother but her enemy. At this time she suddenly said to me, I'm the one who disabled Lee Chunmei. I'll take the blame. But I need to take care of her so I won't have an income. I hope you can ask my brother to give me 2,000 yuan a month so that I can take care of her. She clearly hated Lee Chunmei so much, yet she said she would take care of her. Even if I was stupid, I could guess that her motives were buchuan. However, this was a dispute between their mother and daughter. What did it have to do with me? Besides, the first 10 years it's the mother-in-law's turn. The next 10 years it's the daughter-in-law's turn. Since Lee Chunmei had treated me like this, I naturally wouldn't return good for evil. As for the money, it wasn't a problem for me at all. So, I immediately agreed to her request. As long as she didn't leave this mess for me to clean up, it was okay to give her some money. After simply treating her in the hospital for 2 days, Su Ying forcefully took Lee Chunmei out of the hospital. I heard that after returning home, Su Ying either beat or scolded her. She even waited for 2 or 3 days to clean up her excrement and urine. On the day my husband came back, the two of us specifically went to see her. It was obvious that she had become a bag of bones. She begged my husband, honey, I really can't take it anymore. Please take me away from here. I thought my husband would be soft-hearted. After all, she was his mother. Unexpectedly, there was an even more astonishing thing to come. I only heard my husband say coldly, call me honey? Do you really think I don't know that you're not my real mother? Not only was I stunned, but she was also stunned. It took her a long time to react. How do you know? My husband glanced at her. Since I was old enough to understand, I've known. Because I don't believe that a mother would pour boiling water on her child, and I don't believe that a mother would deceive her 18-year-old child to go to Myanmar for 100,000 yuan. No wonder my husband had such a large burn scar on his body. At first, I thought he had accidentally touched something when he was being naughty, so someone had done it on purpose. No wonder, no matter what my mother-in-law said, he would always stand by my side. So he had long known what kind of person she was. At this moment, I really felt sorry for my husband. I originally thought that he was just not valued by his mother. I never thought it was like this. I walked up to him and hugged him tightly. After all these years of grievances, he finally broke down at this moment. It was the first time I saw him cry. At this time, Su Ying came back and saw us crying. She thought we felt sorry for Lee Chunmei and wanted to take her away. Her face immediately darkened. When she heard that we had just come to take a look, she finally relaxed. Seeing this, my husband generously added 1,000 yuan to her monthly allowance. On the surface, it was the hard work money for her to take care of a paralyzed old person. In fact, we both knew what she was doing behind the scenes. We just didn't expose it. After giving her the money, we left without looking back. The moment we closed the door, I heard Lee Chunmei let out a heart-rending cry. Presumably, Su Ying was torturing her again. But no one could blame her. This was completely the retribution for her spoiling her child. Later, Lee Chunmei passed away within a few years. As soon as Su Ying reached a certain age, she married someone in a similar situation to hers. Although her life was not satisfactory, she could just about get by. But compared to the life she had imagined, it was completely the opposite. She complained about everything every day but still had to keep living. After that project ended, my husband didn't go abroad anymore. I also brought my father from my hometown here. From then on, our family lived a carefree life. The end.